Hello guys, Fens here, and welcome to a Diablo 4 video. Season 1 is upon us, season of the Malignant, and we have the season mechanic they've added to Diablo 3 gems. Let's take a look at all of the 32 Malignant Hearts and go through and see what I'm excited about and what I'm thinking about making out of them, if at all. And yeah. There's 3 different ones, right? It's orange for damage, it's blue for defensive, it's pink for utility, and then there's the gray one, which is a bit of a mixed bag, but it's supposed to be ultra powerful, right? Alright. It's also supposed to be really rare, but how rare, I am not sure. I fear it's very rare, but at the same time, if it's very, very rare, like the uber rares, like, they're gonna get a shitstorm, I guess, but we will see what they have in store for us. Cage Heart of the Picana. Critical strikes electrically charge the enemy for 0.74 seconds, causing lightning to arc between them and any other charged enemies, dealing damage, lightning damage. The numbers will go up with the power of the hearts. I think this is for level 20 characters specifically, so they'll go up as you go more powerful. So let's not worry too much about numbers here, but at first I was like, maybe there's something that Sorcs and Druids can do with this, because they have talents that amplify their lightning skills damage. So I just went and checked, and well, most of the Sorc things says shock skills, and most of the Druid things says storm skills. So Cage Heart of the Picana is only really going to benefit off of 1 or 2 things from those talent trees. So in terms of just scaling lightning, this is not really gonna do anything. Sorcs, I thought for a second that Sorc would have whenever you deal lightning damage, you have a chance to stun, and I figured that might be really good with this one if you're playing some sort of lightning build, but that has to be from a shock skill, so it doesn't even work. I was thinking a little bit that this was kind of like the blizzard spikes you got out of your aspects, and maybe it would scale in a similar explosive fashion. I just don't really see the vehicle for scaling the damage up, especially after they nerfed critical damage and vulnerable. So I think this one's largely going to be... Well, I should be careful what I say. I think this one's largely going to be an L1. There might be some things that other classes can do that I'm not aware of. I know Sorc by far the best, and a little bit less, or a lot less, I guess, the Druid and Necromancer, and then my familiarity with Barb and Rogue is shallow at best. So there is guaranteed something that slips through the cracks. For this one specifically, I'm not very excited. I don't think there's going to be much slipping through the cracks here. For starters, it needs 2 enemies, so it doesn't work on bosses. I assume because it needs to arc between them, right? So not only do you need 2 enemies, you need to critically strike 2 enemies within seconds for it to fucking arc, right? Yeah, uses are limited, scaling is limited. I guess we'll see. I'm not too excited for this one. Next one. Caged Heart of the Dark Dance. Oh. Every 5 seconds while above 60% life, core skills cost life instead of your primary resource. Skills that consume light deal 10 to 20% increased damage. That's really cool. I'm a little bit sad that it is every 5 seconds. And not just you can just drain your life away rather than that. From what I understand, it's you get a little buff after being above 60% life for 5 seconds, and then you can fire off a core skill that costs life. I would have much preferred that it would just you can just fire off as many fucking core skills as you want, and it'll just drain your life away at 20% increased damage until you're below 60% life. That would be cooler in my opinion. also more powerful, and you'd offset it with like life gen, right? So if you could get the life gen up to the cost of your primary resource, you could just make a build that doesn't have to gen resource. I think that would be cool. I think any spec, or sorry, spec, any build would be able to use this to decent effect. I'm not sure if it's going to be best for any of the ones that I'm specifically going to play, but I could definitely see Sorcs have a lot of barriers, and I'm assuming it'll take some of the barrier life away. Druid has a lot of fortify. I'm assuming it'll take some fortify away. Druid also has a decent chunk of healing built into the talent tree. Sorcs as well if you're playing fire, wall burning. This Necromancers has as well, right? I feel like I remember they have some healing in the talent tree as well. And rogues have some that was nerfed, I believe, in the patch. They have something where they like leech or something, kind of. So you should be able to sustain your health pretty well. Obviously, if this means you have to fucking chuck health stones like a man, or health pots like a madman, I just raided WoW yesterday, so that's why. If you have to chuck health pots like a madman, then this becomes a problem. But I mean, not having to use resource is pretty cool, and dealing a 20% increased damage. Whether or not it's powerful enough to actually be put in is a question. The 5-second thing is what makes me a little bit wary about it. It's not... You can't just fucking put this in and, oh, you don't have resources issues anymore. Now you just need life. That would be very cool and very transformative if this would actually transform your life into a resource, so that when you're above 60% life, you can just spam away. And then when you go below 60%, it will just use your resource instead. There is one. I wonder if life counts as a resource. There's a pink utility heart that makes resource draining effects do less. This one's pretty cool. The 5-second ruins it a bit for me, but otherwise it's really cool, and I could see it being used. It's just essentially, it's just in lieu of a generator buff. It's just, instead of having resource gen, instead of having like aspects that does that shit for you, this one could go in and work as a replacer. Pretty cool. Caged Heart of Tempting Fate. You gain 40 to 60% critical strike damage, but your non-critical strike do you 20 to 15% less. Well, that's a numbers game, right? That's just flat out a numbers game. Are you critting enough to make that 15% less damage worth it? Or worth the 60% increased critical strike damage? They didn't nerf all the critical strike chance or damage you have available from gear. So this is an extra scaler to put you back up towards where you were pre-patch. At the cost of obviously a heart, right? The question is if you'll take the non-crit deal 15% less damage as a punishment. I mean, it's probably better, right? As soon as you pass, at least as soon as you pass the 50% critical chance mark, which I think shouldn't be all that hard. It's definitely not worth to equip until you get to the end game, though. This one is horrible for... But it is also only available for World Tier 3, right? So you won't really run into it until you do have a chance, at least, at having some decent critical strike chance. I mean, it scales critical strike damage, so it'll probably be not bad. The question is if the drawback is too big for it to be used. It's not really build defining or build anything, but they are general as well. So they are meant to be more all-encompassing, I guess. Where I feel the Cage Heart of the Dark Dance is actually something you can build something around. The Tempting Fate one is just, that's just gonna be a multiplier that you put in if your class doesn't have anything better to offer. Yeah. That's me. Whatever. Let's move down to the defensive ones. Cage Heart of the Lionheart. Oh. You gain 10% barrier generation and you heal life per second while you have an active barrier. So there's a unique that gives you a barrier for all the excess life you've healed. It's a pair of legs. Every piece of healing you do grants you an extra barrier. Every piece of overhealing you do gives you a barrier instead. So those two could feed together and give you permanent barrier. That's pretty cool. Whether or not it is worth both taking away your leg slot for a unique and also putting on this thing, I don't know. But it can definitely help you in the earlier stages of the game for defensive usage until you get what you're actually supposed to be playing, or until you get enough points into your Paragon, I guess, if that's where your defensive comes from. So there's some synergy there. I think the pants are called something Temeria or something. I used them a bit while I was leveling on my sword, and they're pretty nice. And with this one, like I said, you can have a permanent barrier, and you'll even get 10% barrier gen. I could see this being used. Just a heal, right? Like when you have a barrier and the 10% barrier gen, like I don't see it being used at the end game. It doesn't seem powerful enough. I guess if you're playing that Bulwark Druid that explodes the Bulwark, then you'd actually kind of cheat the system a little bit and get a defensive that has offensive prowess, because barrier gen goes into the explosion of that. So maybe in that build, but 10% barrier gen, I doubt that's going to be enough scaling to outdo a Vicious or Wrathful Heart. But yeah, this is usable, but I think it's more of a... It seems more as a bit of a specific leveler, and specifically a leveler in World Tier 3 if you get a quick and easy unique drop of those pants. Otherwise, I don't see much use of it. Like, yeah, you heal while you have a barrier, but that also requires you to have taken HP damage. And generally speaking, if you want to go for barrier gen, you'll have barriers up a lot of the time, meaning you'll generally speaking not take that much health damage, meaning there won't be that much to heal. So I think it has a few synergies. The barrier gen for the Bulwark Druid, and the heal while you have a barrier with the unique. I guess there are things that give you... Is there some things that give you a fucking barrier when you drop low? Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's a general one. This seems a bit like a leveling one for whoever is using barriers, I guess. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Cage Heart of Revenge. Brutal, defensive, World Tier 3. 10 to 20% of incoming damage is suppressed. It being suppressed means what? Is it just a 10 to 20% DR, or does it come later? When you use a defensive skill, Subterfuge or Macabre, all suppressed damage is amplified by 250% and explodes, dealing up to... So dealing up to damage to nearby enemies. But it is 2k at level 20. So depending on how aggressively this scales, it could still... The cap here makes me a little bit sad, because otherwise you could have probably built a really cool, like, just fucking... You add this to a Thorns build, right? That would be pretty cool. But I guess maybe the 10 to 20% being suppressed. The question is if suppressed means that you'd still proc the full Thorns. Otherwise, I think it would have been DR, right? Because I could see if the cap wasn't here, Like, this would be fucking cool, yeah? You put this on and you just 20% of the damage you take, you just radiate out. Just whenever you pop a defensive. And you can play builds that has a high uptime on defensive skills, right? And it's not even a defensive per se, because I believe Blink is the defensive for Sorks. So it would count on Blink, I think. So Sorks can have this up pretty much. Wait. How does this work again? Wait. So what I thought was that you have this running, and then you press a skill, and then you have then also press damage is amplified by 250 and explodes, dealing blah blah blah. So I thought you pressed your defensive, then there was a time where everything just exploded out, every damage you took exploded out for 250. But now I'm kind of thinking whether or not the suppressed damage is stored up, and then the next time you hit one of your spells, it just goes boom. So you can you can make yourself into some sort of like nuclear bomb, but you can't because of the cap. I wonder if it's stored or if there's a timer. Because it could be you use a defensive skill, and then for the time the defensive is active, it explodes for 250%. All the damage you take explodes for 250%. Which is what I thought initially, but now I'm kind of doubting my initial thoughts. Now I'm kind of thinking that you just store it up and you hit the defensive and you nuke. That makes it different. It's still cool. It makes if it is just a 20% DR, and then when you use a defensive for the duration of that defensive, you have 250% amplification and you explode out, dealing these up to this. I think that makes it more usable with the cap, because every instance of damage will then burst out, whatever. Oh, sorry. If it is, everything is stored, and you prop your defensive and you go off with a big boom of stored damage, the cap is going to be really restrictive for it. I assume what they didn't want is to just have people build giga defensive and just tank massive damage, and then press a button and then everything fucking explodes. I'm guessing that's why the cap's there. That does make it more boring. Initially I was pretty excited about this, but the cap makes me think that it's not going to be very usable. That's a cool idea though. It's really cool idea. But it does have to have a cap, so hoping the cap is high enough that it makes sense. But this would be something that would be really cool to make a build around, right? Like your offensive power comes from taking a lot of damage, so you'll build around having a lot of healing, a lot of DR, and then just it would be a Thorns build, right? So you also do some damage outside of when you pop the fucking suppressed thing. So you don't just need to store, but or whatever it is, or be close to them, right? Because it's two nearby enemies, so you'd need to. A macabre skill, isn't that corpse tendrils as well? So you can't even have necros, can't even fucking just group them with corpse tendril and then use it, because I think corpse tendrils will consume it. It also, I guess it kind of has to be the suppressed is stored and then you release it, because a lot of the defensive skills stun things, right? And when you stun things, they don't do damage to you. I say a lot of them, some of the ones I was thinking about, because Frost Nova is a defensive skill as far as I remember. Blink, you use the unique so that you grip them and stun them, is a defensive skill. I think corpse tendrils is a macabre skill, but I'm uncertain of that off the top of my head. Subterfuge, you can stealth, right? So you go out of fucking line of, you won't be able. I won't be able to see you. Oh, sorry. This one can be cool. I'm mildly excited to take a look at this one and see how it works. Whether or not you're going to press the defensive and then for duration you're going to just blow up, or if you're going to just suppress all damage, so you store all the damage you suppress and then hit a button and it goes boom, nuke. But massively fucking capped nuke. Could be cool. I hope that this scales generously enough for it to be viable. Otherwise, this is just going to be a gimmick that nobody uses. It might be used as just a DR, I guess, but let's go to the next one. Caged Heart of the Prudent Heart. Double Heart. Okay. You become immune for 2 to 4 seconds after you lose more than 20% life in a single hit. This effect can only occur once every 110 seconds. This sucks, doesn't it? This fucking blows dick, doesn't it? It can only happen every 2 minutes and you get a 4-second immune. It's immune though. I thought it was unstoppable. I don't know why I thought it was unstoppable. Immune for 4 seconds after you get chunked. Usually when you get chunked though, you're just dead. It's very rare that I find myself get chunked and then live at like 1 HP and I'm not just immediately dead. I don't usually get like chunked and then dead. It's usually you get chunked. Oh shit, nothing happens for fucking I don't know how many seconds. Because it's usually like a corpse bow that goes and you're just dead. Maybe that is a Sorc weakness specifically, that you're either dead or you're not. A 2-minute cooldown almost. Maybe this scales up. The amount of seconds scales up. Maybe the cooldown scales down and it'll be cool. I wonder if it'll save you. Kinda. Like, let's say it is, you lose more than 20% life. It is after you lose more, so it won't save you, right? It's not like you can take 100% and it'll save you at 1 HP. No, it'll just, you will still die. I think this one sucks. I'm not excited about this one. It might, yeah, I might be wrong. For fuck's sake, it depends on how much this scales. I guess. I'm not excited. Caged Heart of Determination. Resource draining effects are 40 to 50% less effective. In addition, gain 3 to 8% increased resource gen. So resource draining effects specifically, I'm assuming that is stuff like resource burn. But I have seen there are a few hearts that actually drain resources as well, so I wonder if it works on those. If it does, there's some cool interplay that we can look at later on. Other than that, if you need to specifically build into this, but I'm not sure if channeling counts as resource draining. I don't think it does. I think it has to be some sort of debuff or effect from your stuff. Like if we take an example of the what was it? Caged Heart of Dark Dance. Core skills cost life instead of primary resource. If we say life would be a resource draining, if like would be a resource that counts as this resource, and you if we say life is a resource here, then maybe you get to lose 50% less life when you use this, right? If that's the case and that's how it works, there are some things further down of these hearts that might be really, really cool. Question is if it's worth it to fire it off. But yeah, I mean, I think it is stuff like resource burn. Specifically, that instead of them draining 16% when they hit you, they only drain 8. But you just don't run those keys, by the way. They're fucking ass. I don't think it would be channeling. That would be Maybe it is, but that's a 50% mana cost reduction right there. They did say they were going to be powerful, but so far I don't feel like that's the power level they've been at, like a 50% resource cost reduction, right? Like and I also think they would have wrote that instead of resource draining effects. I don't think a cost is a draining effect. So I think it has to be, it has to be applied to you by enemies, or specifically some of the hearts has a resource drain to them. So maybe it'll work on those. I hope it'll work on those. It would be way cooler if it works on those. So not much to that right now. The resource gen is nice. I'm using this one right now for leveling, but other than that, not much to say. Caged Heart of Retaliation. We have another one. Deal 510 to 680 damage to surrounding enemies whenever a crowd control effect is removed from you. So not even when it happens, it's when it's over. That's... So basically, if you fuck up, then after you've survived your fuck up, it's not even gonna save you. After you've survived your fuck up, you're gonna get a bit of burst damage. I'm not excited about that. See, if it was when you get crowd controlled, it does damage, then it had a chance to at least save you, right? Because it could kill the crowd controlling mob, it could kill some mobs around you. But at this point, it's just, well, when you survived anyways, or I guess when you press an unstoppable button, not a fan. Not a fan. Maybe it'll be useful for some specific things. Maybe a thorn stuff, or just to add more retaliation damage. But also, the goal for a lot is to be crowd control immune for as much as possible. So you'll just limit the time this can actually help you. Nah, no, I'm not excited. That is boring. No, fuck this. Like, this is fucking boring. I don't understand whatever. Caged Heart of the Calculated. Oh. After spending primary resource, your next attack stuns an enemy. Yeah, I mean, that depends. If you don't have access to stuns and you have access to stun damage of some sort, then maybe it could give you a huge AoE stun, right? I wonder how it works with because I'm playing Druid right now, and if you do Hurricane or you do Tornado, and the first hit overpowers, the entire thing will overpower. So I wonder if I spend 200 primary resource and then I hit Hurricane, will I then just have an 8-second AoE stun running around me? Because that might be really good. For a Sorc, let's say I spent 150 of my resource and then I drop down a Blizzard. Will I then have a 12-second AoE stun in that area? So anything that goes in gets stunned for 2 seconds? And how much are they gonna get stunned? How's that gonna work on bosses? Are you just gonna fucking absolutely blast through their stagger bar? This might have some use if these are the cases, right? If you can add this effect, because it's one attack, right? A Hurricane is one attack, a Blizzard is one attack. The question is if they don't mean attack, if they mean instance of damage. I also think it's gonna get nerfed real fucking quick if if the Hurricane is gonna stun everything for 2 seconds, for 8 seconds. Also, the question is, can you just chain them then? If that works, are they just stunned for 10 seconds? Because every time they get out, they do have DR, don't they? Sometimes things become unstoppable for quote-unquote no reason. I'm interested in this one. This one could be good. This one could be really cool. 150 primary resource is a bit steep for a 2-second stun to use a fucking gem for. But specifically, if it works like I suggested with, say, let's say a firewall, let's say a blizzard, let's say a hurricane, poison trap is another lingering one, right? What does Necros have that fucking sticks on them? I'm not sure, but Bob has rend, right? But that's only one thing. It has to be around you. It won't be whirlwind. That won't work because that will be an instance that would at one attack will be when you pay for the channeling or whatever. When you, I don't think you can just keep channeling and it'll count as the next attack. But I am curious whether or not the hurricane or the tornadoes or the blizzards or the firewalls, like things you send out and it lasts for a period, if they will count as one attack or if it will just be the first hit they do. This could be exciting. I'm gonna definitely look for that one when I get to World Tier 3 and see how it works. Next one. Oh, now we're moving into the super powerful gray ones or black ones or whatever they're supposed to be. Caged Heart of the Malignant Pack. Super. Wrathful Super. Ooh. Cycle through a malignant bonus every 20 kills. Already not a fan. You can't pick what you want. And you can't cycle on a boss unless it spawns ads. So you're just stuck with what you have. So you kind of have to go there with the correct one. Vicious, 20% attack speed. Devious, core and basic skills have a 15% chance to fully restore your primary resource. See, if you could have this all the time, that would be cool. Brutal, every 21 seconds gain a barrier absorbing. That is not cool. You just gain every 21 seconds you gain a barrier. For how long? How long is that barrier? So initially I thought it would be the one you slot it into, right? So if you slot it into a Vicious, you gain 20% attack speed. If you slot it into Devious, you gain core and basic skills have a 15% chance to fully restore. That's what I thought. But apparently you cycle through. I don't like that. I don't like that it's on kills either. If you are gonna cycle, make it something I can control. So let's say every X amount of primary resource I spend. Make it every X amount of attacks I do. Make it every X amount of whatever, right? So that I can control it. So instead of just, well, every 20 kills, you just have this. And then... yeah, so... the 20% attack speed is really cool. The core and basic skills have a chance to fully restore your primary skills. I like that. That if you could have this on your own, on its own, like just have this as a Devious, a lot of builds would use that. A lot of builds would use this. And the fact that it's both core and basic is really good, because you want to just fire off cores, but if you don't proc, then you don't have to fill it up with just basic skills and pray for the lottery, because you can then, oh fuck yes, my basic skill proc, so I got instantly full resource, so I can go back to core skills. But the fact that it's in this weird fucking cycle thing is a bit disappointing. I would very much like if they changed this from kills onto something that we can control rather than kills. But yeah, move on. Next one. Caged Heart of the Creeping Death. Oh, another wrathful. Your damage over time effects are increased by 30 to 40% for each different crowd control effect on a target. That's cool. Unstoppable monsters and staggered bosses instead take 110 to 130% increased damage from your damage over time effect. Ah, so the aspect of control is kind of back, huh? But only for dot builds. This is cool. This is very cool. Unstoppable monsters and staggered bosses. So it is just 130% increased damage to bosses at all times. Not just... wait. Unstoppable monsters and staggered bosses. I wonder if a staggered or if a boss counts as an unstoppable monster. Because it is, right? They don't take crowd control, so they're unstoppable, right? No? Maybe not. Maybe not. I thought it was. I thought because I'm wearing a helmet that makes you do more damage to unstoppable when I was doing Lilith, and I was fairly certain that me do more damage when I put it on. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I hope I'm not. That's cool. Plus for damage over time. So I wonder if what actually, because I'm playing Druid now, I wonder if Hurricane is a damage over time. The poison creepers are. To have poison creepers. Isn't there a rabies that's the damage over time as well? I might be able to use this. But the firewall definitely would be cool for this. Just a 130% increased damage. That's pretty cool. This one, I like this one. This one's really nice. This one's cool. More of this. Caged Heart of the Barber. Critical strike and all subsequent damage within 2 to 4 seconds is absorbed by your target. Then the absorbed damage erupts onto surrounding enemies. Stored damage is increased by 10% per second. Oh, that's fucking cool. That's really cool. Yeah, this is really cool. So you stack fucking crits? You do... Oh, that's really cool. You just turn... Your crits become fucking AoE nukes after a few seconds. So, not only... Just by waiting a bit, you get a 40% increased damage. I wonder how it works with subsequent critical strike, though. You crit, and then all subsequent damage within 4 seconds is absorbed, and then boom. What if I crit again, though? Because that... Or maybe it probably enters like a down phase then. Or not a down phase, but... You can probably only have the effect happening once per target. So, once you've had a crit, the next 4 seconds, all of your crits don't activate it more or extend it or whatever. Because otherwise, you might just have it never blow up until the mob is dead, right? Now, this is fucking cool. I want this. I want to play this. Caged Heart of the Barber. That seems really cool. Fucking crit. And then after 4 seconds, it just goes... It is just a fucking 40% damage increase as well on single target. Because you just have to wait for it a bit, right? It's all crits though. It says crits and all subsequent damage within 4 seconds is absorbed. So maybe it'll have There's no shot, because if it's... Let's say I crit, then the 4 second starts. Then I crit, then a new 4 second start. But the crit I just did is put into the first 4 seconds. There is no way it works like that, because then you're just gonna fucking scale out of control. But I guess it only hits surrounding enemies. So maybe it does actually, because it only hits surrounding enemies. But that seems... Oh, you can make some chain reactions, I guess, then, because if the absorbed... If you crit one mob, and then a little later you crit another mob, and then the first mob blows up, then will that absorb... With that fucking explosion, will that go into the fucking... would that be absorbed by the target you crit a little later, and then explosion goes off again? That would be cool though on bosses, actually. That spawns ads, right? You build one up on the boss, then the ads come in, you make sure you crit those, and then the boss blows up onto the ads, and the ads instantly blows up onto the boss. I assume it blows up when they die, but I'm not sure. It could not. This is cool. I want this. I want to play with this. I want this very much. This is very cool. I like that one. All right. Barbarian. I'm going to be a bit clueless here, but let's take a look. After spending 60 Fury within 2 seconds, your next non-basic skills critical charge chance is increased by 30%. I guess. It's good that it's non-basic, so... Let's say you spend your Fury, because otherwise what would happen if you spend your Fury, now you don't have any more Fury and you have to generate. Oh, I get a crit on my generator. Woohoo! So that's cool. So what's probably going to happen, your gameplay is going to be that you're going to spend your Fury, build it up, and then every time you have to spend, or every time you're ready to do core skills, the first one's just going to have 30% critical strike chance. That's cool. It's fairly simple, but I can see it being used. That's pretty cool. Oh, wait, no, you have to spend the fury within 2 seconds, though, so it has to be like spender. And then you can probably wait. There doesn't seem to be a duration on the next, on the buff. Yeah, that's cool. Let's move on. Cage Heart of Resurgent Life. While below 40 to 60% life, you receive 50 to 60% more healing from all sources. Whatever. That's... Yeah, whatever. I mean, is that cool? I don't know. I'd have to know more about how barbs function. That seems underwhelming to me. It's just whatever. Cage Heart of Punishing Speed. Your skills have a 20 to 30 chance to knock down all enemies for 1.25 seconds when that skill's attack speed is higher than... Okay, so you have a lot of attack speed and then you have a chance to knock them down. Is there any... I'm assuming that barbs can scale damage to knock down enemies. It's CC, right? Okay. I'm not sure if it's gonna... I'm not sure if this is powerful enough to make a cut for a fucking... for using it, right? But it might be nice when you're leveling. But then again, when you're leveling, can you even hit that attack speed? Can you even hit that attack speed when you're leveling? I don't know. This seems like a swing and a miss to me. I'm not sure that's gonna be used by anything. You don't have to have a devious. You can pick the others. While this one is just boring and I don't think it's going to be used, this seems like it's fairly cool, but it just won't be used because it's not... It doesn't make you more tanky. It doesn't make you do more damage. It's just cool. Like it seems like there's no point to using it. Next up, Cage Heart of Ignoring Pain. A grey one. Incoming damage has a 5 to 15% chance of being ignored and instead healing you. So 15% chance to not take the damage and then heal you for a bit. That seems... Oh, you seem like you got a bit shafted, huh? Should that be your super powerful one? It's a defensive one that isn't even... It's just a 15%... I guess it is a 15% chance to ignore all damage, but are you really going to take a 15% chance? I mean, yeah, it'll save you from your fuck up 15% of the time, I guess. So I mean, you'll die to stupidity 15% less, I guess. But that's usually... I think Bob's got shafted here. This doesn't seem good. This does not seem good to me. Like, what? Why would you put this on? Like, a 15% chance? A defensive that is a 15% chance? When you could have, like, 130% increased damage. Nah, Bob's got shafted here. Fuck, I am not a fan of this. Fuck that. Druid. Oh, this is me. Oh. Okay. Yeah, Cage Heart of the Moon Rage. Kills have a 5% chance to summon a wolf companion to your side for 20 to 30 seconds. In addition, gain +3 to wolves. I think wolves are bad, but this is good for leveling. There's 5% chance on a fucking kill? Like, again, why is it on kills? Why is it not on skills I use or something? Like, it being on kills, this is leveling, I think. I don't... Maybe there's a wolf build, and then the +3 to wolves is really powerful. But I think I feel like I've been told that wolves are one of the worst companions in the game. But maybe ravens are, I'm not sure. Maybe if there is a wolf build, this is really strong just from the 3 to wolves. Otherwise, I think it's a bit shite. But it's good for it's fine for leveling. It makes my wolves do damn, but now I don't use wolves anymore, so I guess rip. When 8 to 13 close enemies automatically cast Cyclone Armor. This cannot occur more than 10 seconds. Yeah, I have this one. It's not very interesting either. It's just when there's enemies close to you, you knock them away. It's like, okay, let's go. That one's nah, man. And there's also 8 enemies. It only works when there's 8 enemies. Like, yeah. Cage Heart of Inexorable Force. Up to 30 to 50 distant enemies are pulled towards you while you have an ultimate skill active. I don't know how good this is. It does give you a pull. It does require you to take... I guess it will pull things in with Grisly Rage. So, yeah, you have Grisly Rage active for a while and you run and they get pulled. But it has to be... It caps at 50, so you have to go out of the ultimate, I guess, and then go back in. This could be good. It is a utility one. Maybe for speed, you just pop Grisly Rage and you run and everything gets pulled to you and you just fucking murder it. If you are playing the, what is it, the Were-nado or whatever, I guess, if you can make it with Hurricane and just have the Hurricane around you at all times and just pop Grisly Rage and just run through the fucking dungeon and they get pulled to you and one clap by the Hurricane, that could be a cool build. That could be fun. That I'm excited about, actually. But yeah, we'll see. I'm not so much a fan when they put these weird caps on. Like, just let it be powerful. Like, it's weird that I have to sit and count. Oh, I've pulled 30 now. It doesn't work anymore. Maybe there's stacks. Maybe there's a buff or something. Let's look at the Wrathful one. Are we gonna get shafted like the Barbarians, or are we gonna get something good? Cage Heart of the Unconstrained Beast. Oh. When you are hit with a stun, freeze, or knockdown effect, there's a 40 to 60% chance to automatically activate Grisly Rage. Well, Grisly Rage is pretty good, right? And when you activate Grisly Rage, aren't you getting 6 seconds of Unstoppable, I think? It used to be when you have Grisly Rage up, you're unstoppable but they nerfed it, so now it's only 6 seconds. What are you gonna use this? It's essentially when you fuck up, you have a 60% chance to have that fuck up mitigated if you're not dead by it. This doesn't seem good. This seems... It's kind of the same as the Barbarian one, just a better chance. And I guess it is just... that's... No, I'm not a fan. That is... Fuck. I picked the wrong class. This is... Maybe it's... I'm not sure what I think about this. Like... I'd have to eat fucking stuns, freezes, or knockdown to get my fucking effect? Excuse me? Fuck that. Necromancer. Caged Heart of the Sacrilegious. Walking near corpse automatically activate an equipped corpse skill every second, dealing 40 to 30% reduced damage. That's really cool. I've seen people play with this. This is fucking cool. So you just run around and fucking corpse explosions goes off. Or corpse tendrils, I guess. This is cool. You have to have it on your bar though. I'm not sure I think that's cool, but because if you have it on your bar, why would you take 30% reduced damage? Now what I would think it would do is it would let you play corpse explosion while you don't have to have corpse equipped. That would be cool, right? Because one of the things I think Necromancers struggle with is you have to have a fucking bind for your minions. So having this actually makes it so you don't have to have a bind for corpse explosion, frees up the minion bind. I think you have to have one for golem as well if you're playing minions, that is. So a little bit disappointed about that, but I guess you shouldn't use a mechanic like this to fix an underlying issue like taking up fucking 2 skill slots for minions that are... Yeah, this one's cool though. It looks cool. I kind of dig it. Caged Heart of the Decrepit Aura. When at least 5 enemies are near you, gain an aura that automatically curses surrounding enemies with Decrepify for 5 to 15 seconds. Okay, so you can spec into Decrepify and not put it on your bars and just use this one. That's pretty cool. But it does require you to have 5 enemies near. So bosses, problematic. That's cool. I like it. For farming or for clearing dungeons or whatever, it's pretty cool. Cage Heart of the Frozen Terror. Up to a 10 to 20% chance of inflicting fear for 2.5 seconds. Feared enemies are chilled for 2% or 20% every second. Okay, so you have to fear them twice. I guess they have, I guess, what's it called? Necromancer have other ways of fearing them. So maybe this gives you a chance to just, maybe this gives you Frozen on a Necromancer. In addition to your Frost Mages being able to do it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how much use is gonna see. That's okay, I guess. I'm not super excited about it. All right. So far for the specific gray ones, we've been 2 for 2 in oofs. Let's see if Necromancer gets something. Caged Heart of the Great Feast. Each minion drains... Ooh, that's the essence drain, right? Each minion drains 1 to 2 essence per second, but deals 50 to 75% increased damage. With no minions, this bonus applies to you and drains 5 essence per second. So you get a 75% increased damage for a 5 essence per second. And then you put on this one, and all of a sudden, it's 2.5 essence per second for a 75% damage increase. That's fucking good. It does cost you 2 hearts, so the question is whether or not that is worth 2 hearts in power level, or if it's not. Also, it also depends, well, how much essence can you sustain, right? Like, if you can sustain the 5 essence per second, or you can sustain the 2 essence per second, that's fine. Then you don't need the other one. This is cool. There's some synergy there. I like that. This one's really cool. Seems like Necromancer's got the... It seems like Necromancer's really got the fucking good one. Surprising when all the designers play Necromancers, huh? Let's go on to Rogue. Supposedly the best class in the game at the moment. They're offensive, the vicious one. Cage Heart of Cluster Munition. Lucky hit. You have up to a 20% chance to launch 3 stun grenades that deal physical damage and stun enemies. I'm not sure how good the... Like, yeah, so okay. Lucky hit, 20% chance. A little stun, some damage. I'm not sure if they can scale the damage. Maybe it's good. Generally speaking, you need a lot of gimmick put into your build in order to scale damage like this. But maybe rogues have that. I don't know. This one seems like a leveling one to me. Maybe not. Maybe it's good. It seems a bit... Gameplay wise, it doesn't do anything really for you, so I'm a bit underwhelmed. Let's see their brutal one. Caged Heart of Trickery. When you use a subterfuge skill, leave behind an unstable shadow decoy trap that taunts enemies. The shadow decoy trap will explode after 6 seconds, dealing shadow damage. Cannot occur more than once every 5 seconds. So this is a defensive kind of thing with some damage on it. It also groups up enemies because it taunts them, I guess. This seems pretty good. This seems like something... This has gameplay. This seems cool. I like this one. This one's cool. I'm not sure if you're going to use it, but it seems cool. Depends on... I guess it depends on Rogue's defensive capabilities, and they seem to be pretty good, right? This is like a dungeon thing. Yeah, I like it. I think it's decent. Caged Heart of the Clip Shot. Lucky hit, again. Up to a 20 to 40% chance for your Cutthroat skills to slow by 40% for 3 seconds, and your marksman skill to knock back enemies. I like the knockback. Cutthroat slowing. The Cutthroat slowing seems more like a PvP thing. Marksman knockbacks. It is a lucky hit. I'm not sure. That one's... Yeah, I mean, I guess. It's a thing. Let's see if we're gonna be 3 for 4 or we're gonna be 2 for 4. Caged Heart of the Vile Apothecary. Your attacks have a 5 to 15% chance to apply all imbuement effects at 40 to 50% of normal potency. I mean, that seems cool, right? You just have a 15% chance to just giga imbue your shit. So all your generators have a chance to actually do something, and then If you ever, I mean, I don't think you'd ever really spend without your imbuements on, unless they have a longer cooler. I mean, this is cool. Whether or not a 5 to 15% chance is powerful enough to warrant the cost here, I don't know. Seems cool. I kind of like the idea. It seems a bit rough to have a 15% chance for a 50% potency. I would have loved to see either a larger chance or no potency loss. Like, let's be real. Does 15% happen enough that the imbuement effect has to be only 50% strength? I guess it is all the imbuement's effects at once, but it's a 15% chance still. Would it not have been okay to have it full effect, or is that just too ludicrous? Like 15%, it's not that big of a chance. Like, but then again, overpowers a 3% and you still see that regularly, so I guess, I don't know. Seems cool. Sork. Oh, is that a class still? I thought they deleted that one. Cage Heart of Tal Rasha. So we're getting Tal Rasha from D3. For each unique element you deal damage with, you deal 7 to 12% increased damage for 3 to 10 seconds. That is really powerful. That's just, you're just gonna use that, right? Every Sork build is gonna just fucking slot that in, and there you go. The only issue I see with this is that most Sork builds runs Frost Nova and it doesn't do damage. I actually thought it did. I was corrected, what, 2 days ago? So you need a different Frost skill. There is the lightning heart up here, so you could get your lightning from this. That would cost you, it would save you a skill slot, but it would cost you a heart slot, and the skill that you take out is blink. So I don't think that is usable. I think you 100% keep teleport, especially with the unique that grabs into you and stun them. So if you are, you'd probably be playing a Frost Sork of some sort, because you can put Firebolt in your enchantment, and then when you blink, you'll be dealing damage with both lightning and fire instantly. Otherwise, you can hit Flame Shield and you do damage with fire. Then you can still do the Frost Nova, because you only have 3 elements, right? You have fire, frost, and lightning, right? Is there arcane? I don't remember any arcane. I think you only have fire, frost, and lightning. I don't remember any arcane. The question is if you can get any elements elsewhere. The question is also how this unique element you deal damage with. It used to be proc things as well, so the what's it called, the fire from blinking onto them should work. So I guess you can play any build then, because it has to be frost, doesn't it? Because unless you play the one where you just radiate out, you can play the ice shot one, right, where you radiate out ice shots. So I guess you can play any build and still have Frost Nova, because you have a way of putting frost in. Because you just need to radiate out an ice shot every 10 seconds. I mean, you're just gonna have fucking 36% increased damage at all times. That's pretty good. That's really good. But you're gonna be dead because you're playing Sork, so you're essentially gonna have no damage. So it's 36% of no damage is still no damage. Cage Heart of the Spell Breaking. After taking elemental damage, gain 20 to 40% resistance to that element. Oh, resistances. Haha. So Sork right now is struggling because they don't have any defensives, because resistance doesn't work. So how does Blizzard address that? They give them more resistances. Oof. And also, it's after you take elemental damage, so after you're dead, you get 40% resistance to the element. That's an L. Cage Heart of Spite. When you are afflicted with a crowd control effect, there's a 20 to 40% chance that the same enemy and enemies around you are also afflicted with the same effect for 3 seconds. I don't like these. It's like when you fuck up, there is a chance that your fuck up is partially mitigated or mitigated. It's like, okay, so if I get stunned, there's a chance that they also get stunned around me, and I hope that the stun lasts less than 3 seconds then, so I get out of it scot-free. Not interested. Those are boring. Let's see if Sork gets a good one. Cage Heart of Omnipower. Core skills that launch a projectile consume all your mana. For every 45 to 35 extra mana consumed, you launch a projectile. You launch an additional projectile and the damage is increased by 3 to 5%. That's fucking cool. Now this makes me want to play Sork, but I just know that it's going to get bitch slapped to all hell and it's not going to be enjoyable, but this is fucking cool. This is fucking cool. Oh, but if you have to play... The only build that's going to struggle with Talrashas and Frost Nova is going to be fucking fire, right? Because you have to... I guess you have to just give up your enchantment slot and use the ice spikes. I guess you could do that if you play... I want to play Fireball with this, man. So you use the Talrashas... You use this Cage Heart of Omnipower, and you use the resource draining effects are 50% less effective, right? So, wait, 50% less effective. It's just a resource, right? So, instead, I mean, hopefully this works, right? I'm just thinking. So instead of 35, I'll consume 17 and a half, right? But it will consume all my mana, so I wonder... Because all my mana, I wonder if it's gonna... If that works, actually. I guess it won't. Sad. I thought it would work. No, man. So I thought for a second you could get 50% more benefit here, right? So instead of 35, it would be 17 and a half. So instead of launching, let's say you have 100 and... What will it be? 150... 105 mana? Oh, I guess you need more, actually. Core skills that launch a projectile. For every extra mana. I mean, I guess as long as you have 70 extra mana, because I doubt you're gonna make it to what's it called? Let's just say 70 mana, right? So you'll consume this. You have 70 mana after you spend your core skill. You consume the last, and you'll fire off 2 extra projectiles. I thought if you put on the heart that alters resource draining effects, that you'd get 4 projectiles instead of just 2. Because of a 50% reduction in draining effects. I'm not sure if that's gonna work. I hope it is. That would be fucking cool. If it doesn't work, it should. Blizzard. But yeah, this one's cool. Honestly, these hearts makes me not want to play Druid, which I've picked, and make me want to play Sork or Necro, which I didn't pick because Resistances doesn't work. So in terms of the Wrathful ones, Sork is really cool. Rogue is cool, but I think it's hampered by the low chance or the loss in potency. I think it's either a low chance or a loss in potency. I think both makes it a little uninteresting. The Necromancer one is really fucking cool, assuming you can keep it up. Druid and Barb, big L's. Like when you are hit with a stun or incoming damage has a chance. Like L. Bad. These two are cool. I like these ones. I like the crits turn you into a fucking blaster, and I like the increase to the dots here. While this one is not extremely interesting, it's at least cool and powerful, and it enables some things. Yeah, overall, it's okay. I think they're okay. I would have liked to see some... I would have liked to see more than just one per fucking class of each, right? Like, I don't think it's too much to ask that my $70 fucking game can't develop more than one fucking heart per class. Why don't we get 3? Right? Like, it's like, yeah, so if you're a druid and you're not planning on playing wolves, you just don't have a vicious. Okay, I guess. Like, if I don't like the enemies being knocked away, I just don't have a brutal either. Like, okay. If I'm playing a melee build, then I just don't have a brutal and I don't have a vicious. And then I'd have to fucking... When the utility one is pretty cool, right? But... yeah. I think overall, some of them are cool. There's not enough. And some of them are fucking boring and won't be used. Mediocre. But I am looking forward to some of these wrathful ones. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I might have to fucking rethink what class I'm playing. Fuck. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.